The Bible.
Yes.
Not so much the words, but the Bible. One of my favorites.
Well, I've been asked to say an introduction, and some of you have heard some of this if you were here in church on Sunday, but I just want to lift up and tell it slightly differently, I suppose. I knew very little about Transylvania, about Unitarian Transylvania, Unitarianism in Transylvania when I became a UU minister. But the first church I served had a congregation that it was partnered with in a town called Gepish. And I discovered just what a rich tradition there is of a Unitarianism that's very different than what we think of, and yet is not all that different. And the history is one that, the phrase I used on Sunday was that it's as if we have living ancestors. You look back at early American times, and there's nobody from that time around to talk to say, what was it like? And not that the people of Transylvania haven't grown and changed in the years since Unitarianism was founded there, but in many ways they're closer to that origin than we are, for sure. And so there's a way of being in touch with our own roots that is really profound. And István was saying the other day that if we think of these partnerships mostly as fairly wealthy American congregations, or at least relatively wealthy American congregations, giving money to our poor brothers and sisters across the ocean, then we're really missing the point. And the point is that the very faith that gave us our roots is alive, and we can partner with people who share our perspective from a slightly different angle. And so this history is just, I think, one of the most exciting things that any Unitarian Universalist can encounter, past the fact that we didn't just start in 1961. So to get this not just from somebody who has it as book learning, which is my experience, but somebody who has it as both book learning and history. István is a historian, he's a scholar, for anybody who's not had a chance to talk with him yet, he's a really nice guy. And he can be a guide to this history in a way that no one else that we can encounter would do. So I give it over to István.
I greet all of you and thank you for the opportunity to be with you again, one more time. This evening, I try to share with you some basic information about the Unitarian Church in Transylvania, in Hungary, now called, since last June, Hungarian Unitarian Church. Is a one body and one soul. First part, some information, history, dates, and the second part, some pictures about Transylvania, some pictures of Oltheviz, and some living Unitarians. The first slide, maybe it's familiar for you. This is the official shield or symbol of the Hungarian Unitarian Church. And the sentence is from the Evangelium, Matthew 10:16, therefore be as shrewd as snakes. You could see the Ouroboros, and innocent as doves. Whatever the world you meet this symbol, you know that it's about something with the Hungarian Unitarian Church. And also, traveling in Transylvania, traveling in Hungary, or just searching the internet, you could find this statement: God is one. In Hungarian, egy az Isten. We like to start our history with Francis David, in Hungarian Dávid Ferenc. Francis David proclaiming religious freedom at the Diet of Torda in 1568. Francis David, the founder and first bishop of the Unitarian Church in Transylvania, who lived between 1510 above, because we aren't sure, to 1579. We have not a certain, a real picture or painting of Dávid Ferenc, but is the most well-known picture of Francis David. The artist designed it in this way by books, by descriptions, and by his talent. And also, it's a woodcraft, and also with the symbol of the Unitarian Church. He was born in Kolozsvár, official name Cluj. Studied theology in Cluj, Gyulafehérvár, and he was in pilgrimage, Wittenberg, Frankfurt in Germany. After he returned, he was teacher and minister in Cluj. He brought back the new ideas of the Reformation, and he became the main leader of the Reformation in Transylvania. From 1565, he started to preach in Unitarian spirit. He was a former Roman Catholic priest. After the next step in the ladder of Reformation, he was a Lutheran preacher. After that, a Calvinist, and finally Unitarian. Starting the new branch of the Reformation, the Unitarian Reformation, proclaiming God is one, proclaiming the religious freedom because faith is the gift of God. In 20 January 1566, he held his first Unitarian sermon in the main church in Kolozsvár. Many people followed him, even the King John Sigismund became Unitarian and supported the Unitarian Reformation. He is King John. It's called in the States King John. His full name is John Sigismund. Between 6 and 13 January 1568, the Diet of Torda proclaimed the religious freedom and tolerance to everybody. This is the church. In that building, proclaimed the religious freedom. For the first time in Transylvania, and we like to say for the first in the whole world. This is the picture of Dietin Torda, and at the middle is Francis David, and on back of him the main lay leaders of the Principate and a few clergy leaders of the other Protestant and Roman Catholic Church. The city of Torda, in honor of Francis David, ordered this picture made by, at that time in early 19th, the most famous Hungarian painter, Vörösfői Kris Alagár. For a long time, maybe for almost 100 years, this picture it was kept by the Torda Museum in shadow, almost in the cellar, in the side way. Just in the last few years, renewed, and now it's in front of the steps, upstairs steps to the museum, because it's so big to be hanged in a wall. But now the people, visitors in Torda, Unitarians in Transylvania and Hungary, or visitors from the United States, North America or Canada now could see this picture in full size. And this is a memorial on one of the walls of the mentioned church. Jean and George had the opportunity to see this. And it was built in 2000, in the year of millennium of Christianism. It's on honor the Diet in Torda in 1568. In this church proclaimed for the first time in the world the religious freedom and the religious tolerance. In English, in every place, the preachers shall preach and explain the gospel, each according to his understanding of it, and if the congregation like it, okay. If not, no one shall compel them, for their soul would not be satisfied, but they shall be permitted to keep a preacher whose teaching they approve. Therefore, none of the superintendents, bishops, or others shall annoy or abuse the preachers on account of their religion, according to the previous constitutions, allow any to be imprisoned or punished by removal from his post on account of his teaching. For faith is the gift of God. This comes for hearing, and hearing by the word of God. This was the starting moment of the existence of the Unitarian Church in Transylvania and in Hungary. The Diet of Torda settled the quarrel about the religion. To the radical Reformation, the Unitarianism, under the direction of Francis David, had been accorded legal recognition. So, the Unitarian Church was born in the 16th century as a natural and logical development of the Christian Reformation. In 1571, King John Sigismund died, and the next king did not support the Unitarian Reformation and the Church. The guarantee of religious freedom was narrowed, no further innovations were tolerated. And Francis David, because of his belief, he taught that there is one God and Jesus is human, was tried and convicted to religious innovation and sent to Deva Castle's dungeon cellar, where he died according to the tradition in 15 November 1579. This is the fort of Deva. And now the city council built a elevator. Because it's you have to know the castle, the fort is not just about the Unitarian. It's about the tourist attraction. And the left picture you could see the room of Francis David, and in the right picture a memorial of Francis David in Hungarian, Romanian, and in English. Francis David regarded it as an eternal principle that the work of Reformation must be continued and extended. He told those who have been enlightened by God's Spirit, he said, must not cease to speak, nor can they suppress the truth. Such is the power of the Spirit that the mind of man, putting aside every false artifice, strives only to add to the glory of God. Let the whole world rage and oppose it. Unitarian belief. The very essence of Unitarianism is religious tolerance and a constantly firm attitude in support of liberty of conscience. Francis David constantly emphasizes that the religion must be free, that in question of faith there is no place for compulsion, and that the spreading the gospel, God's words, requires no weapons or violence, because faith is the gift of God. In other words, Unitarianism is inseparably bound up with freedom of conscience and faith. There is no greater mindlessness and absurdity than to force conscience and the spirit with external power, when only their Creator has authority of them. And we like to summarize with the words of Jesus. Jesus answered, it's in the Gospel of Mark. Jesus answered, the first commandment is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this, you shall love your neighbors as yourself. The Unitarian religion is simple. The love God and human are the essence of Jesus' teaching according to Unitarian principles. God is Spirit, who is almighty, wise, good, and just. God is love. The Holy Spirit is God's power, the cause of life in us. It is true that the Bible attributes will, examination of inner thoughts, teaching and comforting to it. This is not because it would be another person, but to illustrate the different ways of God's action. The Spirit is a teaching power guiding toward good. Jesus is human. He is our master in teaching and our guide toward God's kingdom. Jesus is the greatest representative of faith, reason, and freedom. The human Jesus doesn't teach about the essence of person, about the Son pre-existing, eternally nature, about the dual Christ, but only about one God. We can say that Unitarianism is a richly colorful and varied religion. It is not bound. It gives a free field for individual thinking, does not put up boundaries, thus provide a personal way upon which one can proceed. It's not advisable to set up boundaries because progress will be obliterate them. Unitarianism is a living philosophy, is first of all a religion, a religious philosophy whose aim must be to fulfill and to comfort the soul. A religion whose task is to lift an ennoble human soul cannot really be a method, a scientific word by a constant search or any other such endeavor. It must be something which keeps human souls with a shield against the trials of life, which provides a faith which is not of this world. Summarizing, we have our Unitarian confession. The first religious educational classes starts to learn to our children, and they always say, my confession is, I believe in one God, the creator of life, or providential Father. I believe in Jesus, the best among the sons of God, or true master teacher. I believe in the Holy Spirit. I believe in the mission of the Unitarian Church. I believe in repentance and eternal life. And this is Transylvania, inside of Carpathians. You will see a little later.
Oh.
Now, nowadays, Unitarians. In Transylvania, the Unitarian churches are settled in the yellow colored places, are organized in 6 districts. Another one is in Hungary. This is just Transylvania. And this is all. And I will show here is Oltheviz. And this is the old river. Yeah, and right here is the place where I took the container of water. Right? Where is this area? And all these mentioned villages or cities are Unitarians in my being district. The Unitarian Church is organized in 3 levels. The first level, the basic level, are these churches. All individual in their leadership, but they have to follow and conform to the common bylaw of our church. The second level is the dean. The dean is coordinating the religious and practical and leadership life of these congregations, and also keeping connection with the highest or the third level, the headquarters, led by the bishop. And the top of all is the General Assembly in each year, and in each 3 years, the Synod of the Church. The church life, it's similar with the Unitarian Universalist church life, but not too many committee, not too many things to do at countryside. And the city is almost the same life. In every day it's happening something. And the lay leadership in the cities is better than in rural part. The minister is having a bigger responsibility in making decisions, but each decision must be in agreement with the board of the church we call church council. We are proud of our 2 high schools. One of them is in Székelykeresztúr, another one is in Kolozsvár. In Székelykeresztúr, just middle school and high school. In Kolozsvár, nursery, kindergarten, primary school, middle school, and high school. The high school in Kolozsvár is a national recognized educational center. This means it's more than a high school. You can see some pictures about the life of the high school. They are learning, they are enjoying, performing, dancing, singing, researching. This is the choir of the high school, singing in the church. And at the events of the city, they are involved very deeply. The first was the official website of the high school in Székelykeresztúr. This is the official website of the high school in Kolozsvár.
István, about how many students is in this school?
About 500 is the nursery too. In Keresztúr, about 350. For all Unitarian churches in Gathering.
So it says Unitarian College, so is that a
Yes,
religious
Unitarian
school?
high school.
It's a Unitarian high school?
Middle school, high school, primary school, nursery.
So it's a church, but it's a church administered school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's a church school. It's a private church school. And
How
the
far
next
is
one,
this?
too.
So,
How far is this from your church?
130 miles.
Wow.
But there is the headquarters also the Unitarian Church in Kolozsvár.
So in Transylvania, about what percent of people are Unitarians? And I hear it's very, very small.
In proportion 5 and 5.5% the nation is Hungarian, and it's mean about 1,700,000 people, and about 50,000 people are Unitarian. It's
Not the same, yeah. Like that.
now I'd like to switch to Oltheviz.
Well, are the other people who are not Unitarian lots of different things or mostly one thing?
Maybe in 10 minutes, 10 more minutes I finished, and I try to answer, keep your question.
Okay.
In this video you could see the children in Oltheviz. They wearing the very traditionally clothes, and this is a traditional Hungarian dance. I choose this video because it's about our children and to show the national clothes, the traditional clothes. And they are singing traditional songs. And you could see on the left part the banner of the Youth Association. I think the best youth association in the whole country.
Short, everybody's the same.
The religious education is made in two ways. One way is in the public schools as regular classes for each grade 1 class a week. And the second way is religious education in the church. It is a kind of Sunday school, but the Sunday school is for each grade level of children. In Oltheviz we do with more groups, children in nursery, children in primary school, and children in middle school. And is a special religious education is preparing the most important step in the youth people's life we call confirmation. Is in their 13th or 14th years age. After 2 years preparation, they confess in front of the whole church about their deep Unitarian belief, and they sharing for the first time communion, because also Lord's Supper too, with their parents for the first time in their life. And with this event, they became adult member of the church. I'd like to share with you a few minutes in this year's confirmation. And you could see the inside of our church.
This is okay.
Oltheviz, yes. We are wearing also during the sermon, not a stole, we are wearing a robe. But the women are sitting in one side and the other side. This is a tradition. It's not an obligation. It's a tradition. And the people like to sit in the benches where earlier sat their parents. The balcony is for use. The balcony in front of us is for youth people, and the next balcony we have the organ. The balcony. Is a golden plated silver cup. People like to say the gold is okay. You could drink from the same cup because it's nothing different. Prayer is said by children. They pray, but it's not enough now. Parents and godparents. The first event is baptizing with water the children. The second is confirmation. The third is blessing the marriage, and the last is burial.
Last rites or are there other sacraments that are like Catholic sacraments?
Not sacraments. And after the communion, we are happy. It's not a sober church. Bread and wine. Real bread and real wine.
How often do you celebrate communion? How often do you get communion?
We do 4 times: Christmas, Easter, Pentecost, and Thanksgiving Day. Praying together. It's not loud enough. And the youth people are singing in the book of church, their name. We give a Bible and a memory.
When did the church first accept its first members? So how long has this particular church been used by Unitarians?
Since 1606.
1606.
And the church is, remind me how old it's.
It's former Roman Catholic Church. It was built in 14th century. Yes, sir. It's a blessing. And somebody of you recognize
Yes.
the
Yes,
church?
I saw that, yes. The chalice is over on,
Oh.
the right thing is over on the table.
Right there, right there.
Oh, yeah.
He is the lay president, and the girl, it was his granddaughter. Mothers, fathers, grandmothers, sisters and brothers, and maybe one of the most emotional family events too, because after the church is a big table for everyone. And more and more power.
So it's springtime or summer?
It's always the last Sunday in June. We do it always. It's not an obligation. Some churches are doing at the Palms Sunday, one Sunday before Easter.
Very fancy.
kind of parties after.
Now, this is not a church.
It's not church, it's a restaurant. Okay, I'd like to share with you some other pictures. Also, I'd like to thank you to your church supporting or for women to take part in the second International UU Women Convocation last October in Transylvania, North Russia. This is the banner of our church, the banner of the Women Association in Oltheviz. The lady in the middle of the picture, she is one of who embroidered the inner covers. And she made the Transylvanian inner covers, and it's her donation for this church. And this a special and maybe unique picture in the convocation because the members from both partner churches of Charlottesville.
And from India?
The lady, the next to the far right is Cream Lemon from our church in Nankra.
Okay, the two of them, the two far right, or just the
I
one?
think only Cream Lemon was there, wasn't she from our church?
Her arm
Oh, her aunt.
is
Okay.
on her back, also from Nankra.
Ah, okay.
Right, right.
Women and Kim.
Also, she is one of the ladies who embroidered. Some pictures about the eyeglasses project supported also partly by your church. We combined taking the kids to the eye doctor's office with a half-day trip. We took in a coffee shop to give them a cake. And these are the kids who needs, and for them we made eyeglasses. in the office.
And István was very good to send us all of these pictures. We have copies of all of these.
These are the food supplies for old people at the last Christmas. The Christmas is the most beloved holiday for the kids. Christmas tree. And on Carola's back,
See what's there.
Carola's back is a banner. We have since 1995. And it's made by Corinne Lebovit. It's the banner of the Thomas Jefferson Memorial Church in Charlottesville. The blue one on the back.
So do you preach from up high in that pulpit where she was reaching out from
Yeah.
the,
In the Protestant churches, the middle of church, middle of sermon, middle of belief is the teaching. And right after the communion, preaching communion. In the Roman Catholic Church, the altar in front of all people. We usually we enlighten a candle on each Sunday of Advent,
yes.
and it's the fourth Sunday. The children are coming to the church and singing and telling stories about Jesus, about the Holy Night, about the angels, because in Transylvania the angels are bringing the candies and presents.
Oh, okay.
Not Santa Claus, no, the angels.
That's better.
And a candy for everyone in the basket who is in the church. We made for the first time last Christmas, and especially the whole people liked it's so small, but that is our church. And around the church is our memorial garden, but a large memorial garden, a cemetery.
So many years.
And this chalice is enlightened in honor of you.
Patty Wellings. It looks like that.
Yeah.
We carried it in our hand baggage because we were afraid it would get lost.
And just we have thousands and thousands of pictures, but just a very few about the free time of our kids dancing, enjoying, and painting woods and pottering and all other things. And what we do, not do just for Unitarian kids. Every workshop is open and free for every children in Oltheviz. And that was also the eyeglasses project too. We made for all of kids in the school. And we are very glad because the kids are able to leave their laptops, iPhones, iPods, and coming and being and enjoying together.
Yeah. It's hard to get them away from those businesses.
Yes, dancing and playing. Practicing. It was the goodbye party because it's a break in summer holiday time, and this was the goodbye party because in the normal regular time we have 5 different workshops.
5 different services?
Workshops.
So I guess we would say services.
No, you mean classes for the children? 5 different classes?
Oh, workshops, yeah.
Workshops,
Yes.
And also in all cases the kids like to sit down on the floor. So we have too many pictures to show you. Just a few more about Transylvania. Oltheviz is nem merre tudjam azt.
Nem ott. A sorokból egészen keletre mutatni.
All brown bears. Akkor most volt, ne? That horses can walk 15 miles a day. An old Transylvanian house, but now very rare because the people like to build huge new houses.
When was that built, do you think?
I think 200 years ago, using just wood, and the roof is made by wood. Transylvania.
So beautiful.
I can't avoid this picture, I really don't like, but maybe this is the most familiar for the people in the United States. This castle is called the Dracula's Castle. It's maybe 13 miles of Oltheviz.
And who lives there?
My mother.
It's not a tourist place?
Yes.
There's tourist
Yes.
places. Hiking. Oh. Carla told me this place is close to Tordo. Also has a legend, but I can't tell you right now. Why the mountain is cut in two.
That is the definition of an
2,000 and almost 500 meter high.
45 meters.
Yeah, exactly, because she geography teacher. 2,448 meters.
More than the
So welcome to Transylvania.
Yes.
Finally. And now, questions.
Are the people who are not Unitarians, are there many different religions or maybe mostly one?
Romania, and more than 90% is Roman Orthodox, Roman Catholic, Calvinist, called Presbyterian in the United States, Lutherans, Unitarians, and any other free Christian fellowships or organization, association.
All Christian.
A little bit or more, not all Christian.
I was fascinated with your communion service. And what does the body and what does the wine and the bread represent in your communion service?
The wine and bread in the Christian church, it represents the body and the blood of Christ. In the Orthodox Church and the Roman Catholic Church, they have a strong belief in transformation.
Okay.
By in the hands of the minister, is changing in the real body and the real blood of Christ. The Unitarian Church, our belief is a symbol, as a remembrance of his life and his teaching. But it's a kind of communion building too, because one leaf of bread, sharing, and after by people is also putting together again. It must be stronger, the church and the congregation sharing.
We have done this with bread and apple juice.
During the time of the communist rule, was the church still able to function the way that it is able to function now?
The function of the church during the communist system, it was limited. We did the same things, but just between our walls, not in the public school, not in the social hall, not in the streets. We cannot protest, and just almost between the walls of the church, not the other buildings, not the social hall, not the religious educational class, not in public places.
And István, did you not tell us that during the Soviet rule, much of the religious buildings and property were confiscated? And the one to come back to you recently?
No one of churches. Just in case, if in the big cities, they want to build something else, demolished, but just in very, very few cases. What were confiscated was the lands, forests, and other properties, and the schools. And we just get back. Not all, but most of them. Recently. In one eye, we are happy because we have a gap. But keeping, I don't know how we'd be keeping all of them.
So if the angels bring presents, are there devils, or how does your church feel about that sort of thing?
Devils, no. In our church, no devils. Just bad people. Like devils. The angel also is Santa Claus, but he's coming on 6th December.
You mentioned representing the church.
Excuse me?
Is Santa Claus not representing the church?
Santa Claus represents.
Santa Claus? No Santa Claus.
Okay.
You mentioned that your programs are open to the children, no matter what religion. Do you do other meetings with other religions? Is there much interfaith dialogue or discussion?
Yes, it is. Just for example, the Mother's Day we celebrate together with the Reformed people. In 1 year in our church, next year in their church. Because to be Unitarian, it's almost in one way. It's happening by baptize. The people are born in Unitarian church. The adults just by their marriages, or if they choose, but it's something new. It's something new, and are some lots of grandmothers in the Presbyterian church having just Unitarian grandchildren, and lots of Unitarian grandmas having children in other churches. And this is a way to join together. And also in each year we have 1 week we call prayer week. We call foreign ministers in each evening for 7 days. And these sermons also are open for the other people in religion. In that time we are in the church more than 200 people, but not just Unitarians.
When is that?
Officially is a World Praying Week. Officially is the 3rd week of January. But we do in March. Yes, because we have hard winters, and we do in the church, and to be comfortable, we do in March. In one way. Another way, if everybody is doing at the same week, we cannot invite guest preachers.
Are there women ministers in the Unitarian Church?
Yes. The Unitarian Church was the first who accepted women in the seminary. But not fully, because they graduated but never ordained. Before the late 80s. But now maybe 20% of Unitarian ministers are women. The former dean in my district also was woman.
Is that true of the other, I mean, you said the Calvinists and the
Yes,
other groups are
except the
able-
Roman Catholic Church
Except the Roman.
and the Orthodox Church.
So are you the dean in your district?
Yes, I am.
Well, it's like our district executive.
Excuse me?
It's like our district executive, the person that's over a group of churches.
I have the slide with the yellow, six yellow circles, and all is the right below.
And how many churches are in your district?
In my district, if all things together, 20 churches, congregation with settled minister, and another 18 fellowships without any minister. The sermon is made by the ministers in the neighborhood churches.
How often do you preach? Every Sunday, 3 Sundays a month?
No, every Sunday in Oltheviz, and I have to visit, official visit, at least once in each 2 years, the all congregations, the all fellowships, and I preach there also. In 1 year could be up to 130 preaching.
We're all looking at Eric.
Eric says that's a lot. That'll be the last one.
And how are the churches supported financially?
Excuse me?
Financially, where does the money come to run the churches?
Because the Orthodox Church is almost state church. All ministers are having salary support on behalf of the government. About 20% of salary, all salaries come from the government. But for the church, only one budget is made by the contribution of people. And donations, extra donations. Our budget is about, in good years, is at 15 to 20,000 dollars. But for a lot, maybe for 30% of Unitarian churches, their budget, yearly budget, is about $5,000.
So are most of the programs on Sunday morning? Do you have anything during the week? Like any kind of, do you have any events that happen in the middle of the week, or is everything happen on Sunday in the church?
On Sunday is sermon. Afternoon, especially several times extra sermons for people who are visiting us, because we like to visit a congregational visit. So maybe, just for example, people from Waynesboro came for a afternoon with the choir to sing and sharing a common sermon. We do. And on Monday, we have the religious educational classes, Monday after school. On Tuesday, I have the classes in the public school. And Wednesday is my dean office day. Thursday, most of Thursdays, I'm going to College Bar because I'm in different committees for meetings. Friday morning is office, and Friday afternoon, Saturday is free, except when the people like to do baptize and weddings on Saturday. Also, Tuesday evening we have the choirs.
How far is it?
Kolozsvár is 140 miles. It's 215 kilometers.
There's a special program for students at my seminary too, for students who go to Portugal.
Also, the ministers are trained in the theological seminary in Kolozsvár, not just for Unitarians, because to upkeep, to maintain a college, but the seminary is not a real seminary, not even a college. Is even not a university, because the basic level, the bachelor is 4 years. The next 2 year masters, and finally, before ordaining them, 1 more year assistant ministry. Altogether 7 years after high school. And the seminar, the theological seminar, we have together with the Presbyterians and the Lutherans. It's a Protestant seminary, not Unitarian. But each religion is having his own faculty.
Is there a Unitarian seminary?
No, just the next
How many ministers? Oh. We have about 130 Unitarian churches, or maybe 150 ordained Unitarian ministers. But some of them are working in the headquarters, some of them are working as chaplains, some of them are working as religious educators professionally.
Would you discern that your church lesson
In our church, no one interim minister, professional interim minister, we replacing each other. We have 30 days holiday, and we try to do from Monday to 1 month, but before the last Sunday. In good case, just 2 Sunday. In 1 month, just 2 Sunday, have somebody to replace. Also, it's my duty organizing the replacing. Yeah, and sometimes it's easy. Other times, if everybody in the same time wants to go to holiday, it's pretty high. But we call the students from the Unitarian seminary for summer ministry, and we gave them a room to live there. We gave them a lunch and some scholarship. They has no holiday.
Are there other questions that people are dying to ask that they haven't had a chance to?
Just one more. I signed up to the Facebook page of the TJMC Church, and also there you could put questions, and if I can, I try to answer.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank
Very
you.
much.
One last one.